what's up? It's Sean Baligian.
What up? This is Joik Bell here on the Baligian and Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. Well, good morning. How are you? So glad you could join us Tuesday here on Woodward Sports. My name is Sean Baligian, and playing the role of Joik Bell today would be Scott Biscoff. Hello, Scott.
Hi.
Nice
I'm not
to see
playing
you.
the role of Joik.
Yeah, nobody
No.
can play the role of Joik.
No,
Joik, we
not
miss
happening.
you. Joik is out on some business. So, hi, Joik. Miss you. Hugs. Art shaking his head no, but I do miss you. Art, you know what? That's a
It
good
begins
place to
early.
start, though. I need to tell you
Can you
something
sing a
to
song
start,
for him?
to start this show. My life is brilliant.
No, God, no.
My love is pure.
Please, God, no.
I saw an angel.
No.
Of that I'm sure. How did that even come up? We were all singing that song from
No,
like
no,
15
no.
years ago.
No,
It
we're not
wasn't me.
talking
No,
about
You
it.
guys
It was
started
you.
singing it too. Don't throw me under the bus like that.
It was you.
I
You put
did start
yourself
it.
under the bus.
And then all of a sudden, like I found out Art just hates that song. Like he got violently angry.
It must be sung.
Art,
He
why do you hate that song?
Because he's singing with his teeth. I hate it so much. You're beautiful. God, stop it.
That's the voice of an angel in
It's
there.
true.
And then he's on this stupid bus like, you're rich, take a car.
There must be an angel with a smile on his face.
Stop.
And I
It's gonna be in my head for days.
Oh, so they have no. We're singing and they have no sound. Wouldn't you
What do
know
you
it?
mean?
I'm singing.
You have to sing again.
And nobody can hear the beautiful voice, my first tenor voice.
Do you think that they're wondering what's happening?
They probably are wondering what's happening.
I don't know why I'm continuing to talk.
No, that's all right. We can. We
Who
have to
knew?
carry on like we're still on.
Should we write notes?
Carry on.
Do you have a
We
pen?
can do that. Yeah, go like this. We could go like this and hold up a sign. Yeah, we're working on it. How's that? Deal?
I just put up a sign that said nothing.
Because that's what they're hearing. Today, busy day today, to be sure. I believe you guys let us know when you get the sound back, okay? I'm gonna. Okay, all good now. All right, good.
Hi.
Just came back. Thank you. Sitting in for Joik Bell today, Scott Biscoff. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Biscoff.
How's everybody doing?
Joik is off for a couple days. I'm going to repeat the whole thing again. Joik, we miss you. Art, now this is the point where you're supposed to shake your head and say, no, we don't miss you.
But we do.
I mean, I guess. I got to come up with a Sweetheart Scott Biscoff. You know, we got Blissful Terry, Sweetheart Scott Biscoff,
my
and then
gosh.
Jerky Joik. And Sarcastic Sean, too.
Did he say jerky joik?
Y'all
Jerky
beautiful.
Joik?
God.
My life is brilliant.
No, God, no.
My love is pure.
No.
I saw an angel.
God, no.
You do hate that song.
It's just that he sings with his teeth, and he's on a bus. Bro, you're rich as get the hell out of here. Your girlfriend took your car too? Why don't you? She took my car, then she went to the bar. Shut up. It's the worst song ever.
No.
There must be
No.
an angel with a smile on it.
I think Fish has something
Let's
to say.
head to the aquarium.
Oh,
You want
goodness.
to? Why don't you break down the song?
No,
in
I'm
the-
not gonna sing, but is this Vacation Sean? Because if it is, I love
Oh,
it.
it is. You kidding
I
me?
love it. If this is Vacation Sean
kidding
singing
me?
all over the time, this is the
Been on
best.
vacation for 2 days. My kid came home yesterday. We went and got Livonia's Finest for dinner. You
Good for
kidding
you.
me? Absolutely. Been on vacation for 2 days.
That's got to be strange for them to be gone. Like, you have them for...
Wait till you.
I don't really want to think about
No,
it.
do you know what's really funny, Scott? This is the longest period of time that I've gone without seeing my boy, and I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't count if you FaceTime. It doesn't count. It's not the same. It's just not.
Yeah.
So, This was, let's see, let me do the math. It was almost 3 months.
Mine are 13 and 15, and I really don't look forward to that. As much as, there are moments where it's like, would everybody just shut up in here? It's awful, but you know what I'm saying?
The day that we dropped him off in Chicago was, honestly, it was like somebody punched my soul, and there was just like a hole there. Like, I'll never forget, because the waterworks started, and I had to be the one that said,
"This is taking a
this
real
can't
sad
continue."
turn here.
And I gave him a big hug. I said, "I love you. Call me anytime."
I gotta go.
I said to my daughter and my wife, "We gotta go now."
Okay.
Like now. And so we left.
We talked about this.
There was. I'm not joking. There was this period of silence in the car. I'll never forget it. All the way to Kalamazoo. Like, from Chicago to Kalamazoo, everybody was just sitting there just going. And so then his version of the story is, I couldn't go back into my dorm room. I went out to my car, and I just sat in my car, and I was so sad and everything. I was like, you don't need to tell me things like that, okay? I don't. Now, Scott, I want you to think about this, though, and you don't know this dynamic, but Joyke and I talked about this, okay? It is a different thing with your daughter. It is. It's just it's a different thing. So when my daughter in a couple of years goes through this process, like, there's this mental block I can't even think of. And of course with her, same thing. I keep saying, why don't you go to a school close to here? She has no interest. Like,
Do you blame her?
I'd want to get the hell away from me.
I mean, I didn't mean it like that.
I meant it like that. I want
world.
to get the hell away from me. I'm not writing that.
This is how bad it is. I'm preparing for this because we've talked about this.
Yes.
Right? We're getting a puppy next week, and it's bait because I want him to come home when he goes away to school.
That's awesome.
Is that sad?
That is great. That is.
He's not going to want to come home to see me. I know that. Maybe he wants to come home to see the dog.
One of the funniest things, like when he comes home, when he pulled up yesterday, one of the funniest things is like opening the door and letting the dog see him. Because
did they go nuts?
Well, my one dog.
Yeah.
Like Rocket.
Something's wrong
Listen,
with that
no
dog.
offense to Rocket. Rocket, if you're watching, much love. Something broke in that dog. There's nothing like something legitimately broke in that dog. And it is so, because he will stand in the doorway and bark like mad. Like, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. And then, like, there's this moment where he goes like this. I kid you not. He goes like, and kind of tilts his head like,
oh, I know him.
Could it be? And then they just maul him. And it's so cute. It is. I'm sorry. They just maul him, and he's going, "Oh, Carrie and Rocket, this is the greatest day ever." And they just lay in the ground and roll around in the grass and everything. Yeah, Carrie and Rocket. Where'd those names come from? But no. So yeah, that's brilliant on your part. Absolutely.
Well, I think it's next level thinking, but I also think that it will backfire a lot.
Did you know it's 8,000 degrees in this room, though? Have you experienced that?
I was thinking that about 30 seconds ago. That this thing's going to come off.
Oh, this is coming off. Yeah, we're rolling. How you doing in there, Art? You feeling okay today?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Are you cutting weight?
It's for like a dude.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what's happening? Do we have to make weight for a
Well,
tournament
what-
tomorrow or something?
What it is that
A weigh-in?
if the AC is on, then you hear it on the show, so we have to suffer while entertaining.
Well, I guess there are worse things. Everybody has their cross to bear. We're just going to be a little warm.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So
Could be
listen,
worse.
here's what it comes back to. We got a lot to do today. We got some NFL stuff to hit on as well, some draft stuff. I mean, with Scott in there. But
Are we going to talk about Kyle Pitts for like
we
a
are
while?
going to talk about Kyle Pitts. And you know what? You and I also have to have another edition of the education and sometimes re-education classes about quarterbacks in the NFL draft, because I'm so sick and tired of having this conversation every frickin' Art, you know what?
Where is this going?
Just for you. Fucking
you know what?
year. I'm so tired
boy.
of doing it about quarterbacks. I'm tired of it.
What about quarterbacks?
Quarterbacks, why are all these quarterbacks going early? There are no quarterbacks in next year's class. And so we need to have that conversation again. It's like re-education for a lot of people to remember that, okay? So we'll do that. Kyle Pitts, obviously top story Michigan. Absolute props to Michigan. That was a great watch last night.
We have seen that it is a minefield, right, in this particular tournament. Are you taking it back?
No.
Oh.
I did that for my friend Art.
How many are in there?
I don't get the money.
Art, I want you to get the money.
I've never once gotten the
Hey,
money.
it's like a bonus.
Then this week, why don't we do that? If anybody's guilty of it, it goes to Art this week.
No, because Joyke's gonna say no. It ain't
Do you
about
take
you,
credit
Art.
cards, Art?
It goes to a real charity, not Art's
Yeah,
Dunkin' charity.
I don't know where it goes, but that charity's got to be very happy with me. The swear. I did that because I thought it was for Art. If it's not for you, then I'm taking it back.
It's never been for me.
That's not fair.
Awful.
You were saying about
It's a minefield.
absolutely.
Everybody has struggled, except for Gonzaga, and they're going to continue to. So props to them for kind of working their way into where they are. And
It is. You know the thing about Michigan to me is this is a very likable bunch. Would you agree with me? This is a likable bunch.
I've thought that for a while that Michigan's teams have been the way they're constructed.
Under Beeline, absolutely.
Yeah. So it feels. I mean, it's easy to root for them unless you're So I didn't go to either one of the schools. I wasn't smart enough to attend either. But we have a divided house. My youngest likes State, and my oldest likes Michigan. So it's kind of like that dynamic. But
I
it
need
is
to have
easy.
a talk with your oldest.
You maybe have to talk with me too. But no, they are
Why are you
likable.
being mean? You've betrayed me.
How have I betrayed you?
I'll think of something.
I love both teams.
I'll think of something.
Yeah, you won't have to think long and hard about that. They are likable and they're fun to watch. I worry that the injuries will catch up to them, and
You have to. Yeah, I mean,
they're a different team right now than they were.
Listen, there's no doubt, but again, I think what we're also finding out is perhaps this team was a lot deeper than we thought.
Yeah,
I mean, when you lose a player of that caliber in Livers, it's one of those things that, okay, well, great season. It's too bad things are going to fall apart. I mean, it's a damn good win yesterday.
I mean, he would have covered the LSU kid who went nuts, and think that game would have been different with him. And you can kind of project
with
that.
30. What did he have? Hold on.
He had like 100 in the first 10 minutes.
Thomas was 10 of 23, 10 of 23 at 30 points.
Wasn't he like 5 of 6 or 6 of 7 at one point early?
Yeah,
that game was nuts.
Smart had 27. I mean, you're talking about. I mean, they scored 78 points.
It's a different game
came
if
from
Livers is in there.
100%.
So going forward, there's a challenge to deal with that stuff. But
I
they are
say it all
likable.
the time, though.
It's
This is another one of those things. Like people, and we'll get to the draft stuff in just a second. It's almost like people forget. Hey, winning a tournament's difficult. You can be the best team and not even get to the Final Four. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. I saw a tweet the other day. I don't remember who did it. I think it was Justin who put it out. It's almost like when the tournament comes, it is more of a reminder of how remarkable it is that Tom Izzo's been able to go to all those Final Fours.
It's outrageous.
It's not easy, man. I mean, you're talking about 4 games just to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, and like thinking about translating that to the football field, think about like what Alabama's done and Clemson and Ohio State.
People aren't saying enough about it.
Crazy
to me. I've said that for years.
But
not enough is being made about
Michigan
what Nick
State,
Saban has done with Alabama.
No offense, but it's Michigan State, and they continue to make those runs. It's remarkable.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, if you don't respect it, something's wrong.
All right, we'll get some thoughts on that. Obviously, a lot of NFL draft talk. Scott, for people that watch the draft show as well, you were adamant that Brockers was not only going to come here, be an impact here, but would probably sign an extension. You had talked about that last week. And
yeah.
Well, guess what happened? That's exactly what happened. We'll talk about that and his apology to Jared Goff, which, in my opinion, dude, you don't have anything to apologize for. Sorry. I mean, that's your – I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm a firm believer of today? I'm serious. I'm a firm believer in people like to be lied to today. I'm a firm believer in that. People like to be lied to. They want to be told that their unicorn is the prettiest unicorn. Look how beautiful my rainbow is in my backyard. People like to be lied to. Yeah, I say to all the sports fans around here, they and Lord knows there are enough people in the media that'll do it. But
Michael Brockers is a very, very savvy, smart dude, and he was just playing a little game. That's all that was happening.
Matt said, by the way, let me get this out there before we go to a break. Go Blue. I was pleasantly surprised how well every player chipped in, exactly what they needed. Couldn't agree with you more, Matt. I mean, they showed everybody that they are deeper. And you know what? This is where the chip on the shoulder crap starts too. You know, they hear what people are saying. Oh, Michigan, that's too bad. Livers is out. Oh, they hear that. You don't think they use that as motivation? I think you're out your mind. Art told me to go to break like 10 minutes ago, so I apologize. Art, I won't regale you with James Blunt anymore. I might drop Daniel Powder. I might, because it's so hot in here and I'm starting to have a bad day. Art said he'll be out of here if we do that, but when we come back, we're going to talk a little NFL, talk about the quarterback situation, because, again, the Lions aren't sold on selling a quarterback this year. They aren't, okay? They don't have to do it this year. But, ... We'll get into that conversation when we come back. He's Scott Biscoff. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
It's too hot, baby. Cool in the Gang. What is that, a Dio shirt? Oh, it's Tool. For a second, I thought it was Dio. You've been left on your own.
You're the last in line, baby.
In the dark.
Unbelievable singer.
Dio's voice is just... I saw him in concert, you know.
So much better than James Blunt.
I see. He's like this tall, too. Did you like seriously? We're off to the witch. He's awesome. Are you kidding me? So, yeah, it's really warm in here. Did we mention that?
If we have a little bit of water, there's some rocks in the corner that we could probably get a little steam going.
We could get that steam going. Is Bubba the Love Sponge a true story? Yes. At one point in time, I was known as Bubba the Love Sponge. No,
I've never heard that.
It's not true. It's not true.
Sean has not missed his calling. He is a singer. He's a diva.
Hey, Bubba, what is your relationship with Hulk Hogan? Can you talk about it?
Oh, man.
You know, Scott, I don't think the people here know that. That's the funny thing. I don't.
A performer.
Did you guys know that for real?
Yeah.
Really?
A man at the stage.
There's video. There's video out there to prove it.
Oh, there's definitely video.
Yeah.
We're talking about you singing, right?
Did you know that for real?
Oh, I know.
Okay. Did you see it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
My eyes are blind forever.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Do you want me to call your brother?
No. No, he's talking about when I was on stage singing, for real.
Oh, I was talking about Bubba
It was great.
the Love Sponge.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. My other life is Bubba the Love Sponge. Yes, I did. I enjoy it. I'm not going to lie.
Well, so it's kind of one of those things where if you can sing, and you can, then you should sing. Because most people cannot.
Oh, no.
Can I just say real quick, none of you can talk about how hot it is because Adam literally closed the door. Thank you, Fish. Closing the door on me like it's a sauna, like I'm cutting weight.
I can't even imagine what it's like in that room for you. I'm serious.
I'm glad you feel that way. Joy
you have
is
water?
like, turn the heater on.
Gotta hydrate.
Turn the heater on.
I'm a little cold now.
You know, not me.
Kidding.
You know who I worry about is fish in the aquarium. He's going to bake in there. They're going to bake fish in the aquarium. Jeez.
Well, you don't
He
know
doesn't
if you're
need that.
dehydrated when you're underwater. You got to be careful in there.
Right, Fish? How you feeling? You okay?
Yeah, we're good. We're slowing down a little bit. We're
Yeah,
hitting
you might
some-
have to take that. You might have to take off that Patagonia. I mean, seriously.
We're hitting some rocks down here. We're doing very well until
Jeez.
about 15 minutes ago.
So listen, here's what we're going to get into. Where one of the funny conversations, Scott, is the people that sit back and say the Lions don't have to take a quarterback this year. They're right. They're right. They don't have to take. They don't have to take a quarterback. The one thing that I will keep reminding people is if Trey Lance is there at 7, okay, which some people don't even think he's going to be there at 7. The one thing that we don't know is what Brad Holmes and his staff think of Trey Lance. There's nothing out there. And if you are a general manager that's worth a damn, there's going to be nothing out there about what the Lions think. And if there is something out there, do you know what the thing is?
It's a lie.
You have to really think to yourself that it might be a lie.
Yeah.
That right? Is that the best way to say it?
Yeah, I mean, right now, if Brad Holmes were to come out and talk about how much he loves this class, I would think that he is drumming up interest to try to move out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're right. They're not obligated to have to do anything. That's one of the nice positions that they're in. And the way they framed it is that they're able to go just about any position, even if it's a player that needs some development. But, I mean, if you just look at the quarterback position, the Lions are in a situation where they can draft a quarterback and sit that player for a year, which is not a bad outcome. It's not a bad thing to draft Trey Lance and let him sit for a year and Jared Goff plays for a year and then you reboot everything. That's a great scenario, and we've seen teams do that and be successful doing it. There's a bit of a are they right now in a position to do that and have that rookie? So this goes into the teams that are in a good position to win while with a quarterback on a rookie contract, and the Lions are not there. So they would be doing it a little different. Does that make sense?
No, totally.
So in that vein, you'd be thinking that load up for the next couple of years and then get your quarterback on a rookie deal kind of thing. But it all depends on what they think of a player like Trey Lance.
Well, and again, so if you're one of those people that you're sitting back there saying the Lions don't have to draft a quarterback, nice save, Grace. I saw that. Well done. If you're one of those people that is saying the Lions don't have to draft a quarterback, you're right. And Scott, it's funny because we heard this. I think the first draft show we did was, like a month ago now. And I told you I was talking to some of my buddies. The other part of this, and more on this draft in a second, but let's look ahead to 2022 for a second. So you're one of those people, the Lions don't have to draft a quarterback this year. Okay, cool, they don't. Then the other guy sitting in the room is going to go, well, I heard Scott say, or I heard this other guy say, or I heard fill in the blank say that next year's quarterback class isn't that strong, that there are only a couple names out there. And that's where I go like this. I take off my hat and I put my face in my hands and I just go like this. And I say to myself, and if it sounds condescending, I'll go ahead and apologize, but this has to be pounded into your head. Are you new to this whole draft thing? I mean, Scott, let's go back a year ago. You ready? You want to go on a time machine? I don't want to relive 2020 either, okay? But, all right, we're back in 2020 right now. Who thought...
Wait a minute. What did you just do with your fingers?
We just went back. Who thought that Zach Wilson was going to be a first-round draft choice?
Nobody.
Who thought that Trey Lance was going to be a first-round draft choice? Some people, but the average human being out there, Trey Lance wasn't...
No.
Right?
No, yeah.
And so, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So when I hear people say that, it's like, what part of quarterbacks are going to go early don't you understand?
There may not be 4 next year.
There might not be 4.
Or 5, like there could be in this class, but there will be a couple. And a couple we don't know.
Absolutely. I promise you right now. Like, we were just talking about it before. I saw the kid from Carolina, like, every week. Like, if you watch college football last year, I swear to God, North Carolina versus whoever was always the noon game on ESPN.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think Mac did a great job there. And they were exciting to watch. They don't believe in defense in North Carolina. The Tar Heels do not believe in defense, okay? But a lot of their games were incredibly exciting, and a big part of the reason why they were incredibly exciting was because of their quarterback.
Yes, and their running backs and Diami Brown.
Yes.
Yes, very exciting. Howell is the one who I think you feel like we're pretty solid with him being a very early pick next year. And there are players like Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma, Keaton Slovis from USC. These guys could emerge. It's just they have to take that step. Somebody will, though. And that's the point.
Again, so count on it. I mean, here, listen, I was talking to Adam. You know Adam? Adam does a great job here. Adam's like one of those guys. He does everything. And as Art pointed out this morning, he also looks like a Russian mobster, and now I can't unsee that.
He
When
is
Art
scary.
pointed that out to me, I can't unsee Adam the Russian mobster. I just can't. Like, paid to man his money. I
Will
can't.
he be the last thing you see on this earth?
Adam KGB.
Maybe.
I can't unsee it now, Art. So thanks for that. But you know what's funny? Adam and I were talking about this. Adam is a guy that also knows his crap, and Adam said to me, "It's funny. Before this season even started, how many people were out there like me saying, I like this Zach Wilson kid at BYU. Maybe we can get him in the 3rd round." That's what, like, next college football season, I promise you, there are going to be at least a couple guys that everybody thought you might be able to take in the 3rd or 4th round before the season started or right now. And then all of a sudden, Fish out at Northern Arizona puts together an unbelievable season, has a bunch of stuff on tape. Meanwhile, Easy has brought back winning football to Pullman, and Washington State is all that because of Easy, and those guys are going to skyrocket everybody's gosh damn board.
So here's something to think about: is that there really are no 3rd-round quarterbacks anymore. There just aren't.
Why do we always say it?
There just aren't. They're either
Lessons.
1st-round quarterbacks or really late-round quarterbacks.
Sure.
That's just kind of where it is. Where in this class, Kellen Mond from Texas A&M he's an intriguing player. But
I'm familiar.
if he's intriguing, he's not a player that should last to round 3. Davis Mills from Stanford is similar, where he's intriguing. Kyle Trask is, but they're not players who are going to go in, around 3, 4, 5 range just because that's where they get slotted in. They're players who are probably going to fall out of round 1, but if they're really that intriguing and there's upside there, they're going to go early in round 2. They just are. So next year, it's tough to just project a player who, this guy is very intriguing and this is a player who we want to develop around, but we'll wait till round 3 for him. There are some who have done it. Russell Wilson, that it does happen. But generally speaking, as quarterback needy as the NFL is, especially like in this year, with how many teams that need them, they're going to go early.
Arthur.
I've got a question regarding who's going to be available at 7. Can we talk about that after the break?
We're going to do that. And you know what? To further your point, I don't know if you saw it today. The Athletic came out with a mock draft, and guess who went 1, 2, 3, 4 in the draft? You're never going to guess. But we'll tell you when we come back. It's Woodward Sports. You know what? Joik always likes to say, it's a James Blunt Tuesday here on Woodward Sports.
Welcome to Crumble Cookies! It is Joey from Woodward Sports, and this is my new favorite spot where I like to spend my time because they have the best cookies I've ever had in my entire life, and you won't regret coming here and trying them. Located off of Rochester Road, right next to the Imagine Theaters in Rochester Hills, it's Crumble Cookies. Come try these delicious cookies. They even got their own app. They got curbside pickup. They got delivery. You won't regret it. Just come try for yourself. You'll thank me later. I promise.
Hey, Grow Green, Michigan, the world's largest family-owned indoor garden center, buys in bulk and passes their savings on to you, the growers. Score insane deals like bags of Roots Original Soil for $10 and gallons of Fox Farm Big Bloom for just $40. Grow Green has over 1,000 pallets of soil in stock from brands like ProMix, Fox Farm, Dairy Dew, Nectar for the Gods, and Because. Go where the pros actually go. Go to Grow Green on M36 in Whitmore Lake or online at growgreenmi.com. Mention the show for a free shirt. Arthur, you had a question.
Did have a question. My question is very simple, but it could be a very tricky question. So we're talking about quarterbacks. We're talking about who should be drafted at 7, blah, blah, blah. In your opinion, between you and Scott, who is going to be available at 7, in your opinion?
Scott, go ahead and you take this first. I know it's impossible to answer, but go ahead and answer it anyway.
Trevor Lawrence will be gone. Mm-hmm. Zach Wilson will be gone.
Yes.
Penny Sewell will be gone.
Yes.
I don't know 100% that any of the other quarterbacks will be gone for sure. I think Rashawn Slater is in the mix to be gone. Jamar Chase probably will be gone. maybe Kyle Pitts will be gone. Did I name 5 or 6?
Yeah.
Okay. So that leaves possibly a quarterback, Trey Lance or Justin Fields, Jalen Waddle, Micah Parsons. Please, no. And some cornerbacks, I think, that are about to go in that range. I don't know that I forgot.
Maybe both Bama receivers?
Yeah, I mean, you could, yeah. I mean, if the Lions are okay with Devontae Smith and his 100 and whatever pounds he plays at, fine. Incredible route runner, great season, held up in the SECs, fine.
So it sounds to me like there's no one really credible worth drafting when it comes to quarterback at 7.
When it comes to quarterback at 7?
Yeah.
Oh,
we
no,
might as well hold on to Goff for a year or two. No? You're saying no?
I think Trey Lance has oodles and oodles of potential. I really do.
More than that.
Yeah. I'll let him tell you.
But the
He
million-dollar
can tell you
question
better than I can.
is will he be available at 7?
My guess is yes. Now this is, and again, let me say again, guess, okay? Because
But an educated guess.
here's my response to what you were saying before the break. The Athletic had their mock draft today. Do you know who they had going first, second, third, and fourth? The 4 quarterbacks.
But we do need to describe that mock draft. It was a beat writer mock draft in which they all traded up
Yes.
to get quarterbacks.
Yes.
So just so we know.
But for what it's worth, that was the value. Now, what Scott said, is there a chance that Justin Fields could be gone before 7? Absolutely there is. Will that happen? I don't know. I don't know. Scott, I would be surprised if Trey Lance went before 7. Is that a fair statement?
It's fair, but we have to remember that Trey Lance, the majority of what you see with Trey Lance is him as a 19-year-old player, a first-year player at North Dakota State. He was recruited by Big Ten schools, specific maybe to Minnesota, but they wanted to convert him and turn him into a defensive back, safety, linebacker type of player, and he wasn't having any of it, so he went to North Dakota State to play quarterback. But again, 19-year-old kid on film. He's 20 right now. He'll be 20 at the start of the season. His season was magical. It was incredible what he did do. Some of it is the function of what they asked their quarterbacks to do. He was responsible for setting protections, for handling things for his offensive line. He's responsible for reading defenses and doing a lot of things that a much older player would have to do. So I think we have to remember that we saw him as a 19-year-old, and his season was incredible. It really was. So when you're drafting at a position for upside, and that's what you're doing with the quarterback, his upside is as big as anybody in the class. It would not stun me if he went to Atlanta at 4. I wouldn't be surprised a bit. I just wouldn't.
And Art, to answer your question, that doesn't mean that I am advocating, and I think I can speak for Scott here, or Scott is advocating, that means Jared Goff doesn't start this year, even if they pick that guy. And again, I'll keep saying this, the unknown here is what the Lions think about Trey Lance. And I think we're going to find out in about a month's time, because if he's staring them right in the face, you don't pass up a guy that you think is your franchise quarterback. You don't pass that up. You can't pass that up. If you think this is the guy that can hold the keys to the entire vehicle that is the Detroit Lions, then you say, hey, come here. You got the keys. We want you to drive. You're not driving right away, okay?
You have to get your license.
You're going to get your learner's permit, so we're going to have somebody else driving with you, but eventually this car is going to be yours.
What do you say to the people that are 100% confident that Goff will lead us to a positive season, a playoff season? Like
this year, you're out of your mind.
So you're saying
if you don't see what's around him right now, and the Lions are purposely rebuilding, which I applaud. I think it's great. I mean, I can't tell you, Art, that you're wrong. I mean, I again, I'll pull up my crystal ball. I can't tell you you're wrong. But what I can tell you without any hesitation is, if it looks like a rebuild and it smells like a rebuild, it's a rebuild. And nobody likes to use that word for whatever the case may be. It was funny watching Jared Goff tiptoe and try to tap dance around it. It's a rebuild. That's what's going on with the Detroit Lions. And I'm all for it. It was time to rebuild.
Yes.
Let's play Fantasy Island real quick, okay? So let's say that they do draft a quarterback.
Playing the role of Tattoo is Fish.
Let's say that they do draft a quarterback. Who would you rather have in the position as the father role, Jared Goff or Matthew Stafford? In a fairy tale world, are you confident that Goff can train the up-and-coming quarterback that we draft at 7 possibly?
I don't know that that's so much a thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's incumbent upon a player like Stafford or Goff to take the mantle of, I must teach this quarterback how to read defenses, and this is what you do as a pro player. I think that's not up to that quarterback. I mean, you don't go out of your way to sabotage.
Some guys
somebody.
do.
Some do.
I've heard some horror stories.
Yeah, but it's not one of those things where it's up. If Trey Lance fails, it's because Goff didn't teach him anything as a rookie.
Sure.
It's just not. That's not what it.
Yeah.
Not to be dismissive. I just don't think that that's a thing. I think it's more about what does Lance bring. He's a very smart person. He seems to understand a lot of stuff as a young person. His success will be determined by the amount of time he spends working on his game, and not so much about what another player teaches him.
Well, and that's why I keep saying this, and I get it. There are always going to be people out there, Maz. All right, and I'm not being disrespectful. Maz is a bright side of life guy. He is. Maz. When you listen to Maz do a show, or when Maz is on with me or something, Maz is always the guy where people use the term hater. I'm sorry, it's being a realist. I'm the guy that will look at Maz and go, Maz, it's over. Like, this Tiger run is over. And Maz will argue with me until he's blue in the face that, no, it's not. You got to believe. Well, Maz, I'm looking at this roster. What, am I missing something? You just got to believe.
There are worse things in the world.
Well, I need things to believe in first before I got to believe. And like Maz, that's not a shot at you. I mean, I think that's part of what makes Maz such an endearing person. Is he's one of those people that, like, you can talk to Maz a month before the season starts. I'd be drop dead shocked if Maz didn't say something along the lines of this. I think this team's going to be better than people think, Sean. I do. Could this team make the playoffs? Yes. But that's Maz.
Life is better.
That's Maz.
Life is better near Maz. Just is.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It is.
It absolutely is. It's brighter and shinier and happier.
I know that's going to get back to Maz, but so Art, you have to get I'm not taking a shot at him. That's the way he is.
I understand.
That's
I
that.
get it.
I don't. My brain doesn't work that way.
We've got a YouTube question from a JGB. If the
JGB. Lions
can't trade back, are there any defensive talents worth a top 10 pick?
No. Well,
that was quick.
Let me rephrase that. No. No, I mean, I could see...
Scott, you said the smartest thing.
Oh, my gosh.
No, you did. And I have to share this with the people, because, like, you said something and it bing, and it takes a lot to turn on that light bulb in my head. But when you were talking about Parsons, because I look, I don't know, again, guys, I don't know if you know this, the Lions need a linebacking core. Like not a couple guys. They need a linebacking core, okay? Just like we were talking last week and somebody got mad at me. This is a true story. Ask Art. Somebody got mad at me because I said the Lions need a wide receiving core. And I guess maybe they thought that I was advocating going for a wide receiver in the first round. And I said they don't necessarily have to do it in the first round. If they love somebody, take them. They need a wide receiving core. They do. And linebacking core is you got Reeves-Maben, who's a part-time player.
Yeah.
But what you had to say about Micah Parsons.
Don't forget about Jelani Tavai, sir.
What you had to say about Micah Parsons, okay? I want to talk about that when we come back, because you said something to me that kind of solidified my feeling about not taking him. And I'm sure you don't remember what it is, but we'll tell everybody what it is when we come back. I hope it's nice and chilly wherever you may be this morning, because
here.
where we are, honestly, I think we're in the third circle of hell. I do. I think we're in the. I really think we're in the third circle.
Lake of fire right there.
Dante is like in the fifth circle of hell right now. I'm going, what up, D? Right now we're in the third circle of hell on Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hi. Well, you know what? It's really nice of the people here at Woodward Sports to get me, ready and acclimated for going down to Florida. They're keeping this room at,
Do
80,
I need to put on suntan lotion
and
right
it's gonna
now
be
in here?
82 in Key West. So,
Is that how that works? No?
are we going to get sun?
I don't know. It feels like it.
You and I both, we're a little pasty.
I know.
You're
Easy,
getting
can
sun
you
from
get
some of
that
those lights.
PF 500 for me. I mean, I want the maximum strength stuff.
We have a Twitter comment that says that you guys are being a bunch of divas.
In what way?
They
Expound
said that
on
there's
that.
no way it can't be that hot. Open a window up.
That's the problem.
That's a problem. We can't. There are no windows to open.
Hey, don't hate me. I'm just spreading the
No,
word.
I'm not.
I'm gonna open up my
telling our
phone,
Twitter friend.
and I'm gonna take the temperature of the room.
Listen to me. Okay, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop right now. We're going to get to Micah Parsons in a second. I'm going to ask the people in this room how this room feels right now. Let's head to the aquarium where he's boiling. Ladies and gentlemen,
he's
the one,
flying.
the only Fish. Fish, how warm is it in this room
We
right
got
now?
our speed back. We hit some bumps in North Carolina, but we're on our way.
The cool waters off of North
The
Carolina.
Outer Banks.
The
He's
Outer
in that.
Banks.
How warm is it in this room right now?
I would say 75, 76.
Fish is high.
Arthur, how warm is it in this room right now?
I would say 102 in here, in this little area.
All right. So Easy, who's sitting right next to the thermometer, do you know what he said?
I heard it.
It's 78 degrees in here.
I was not prepared for it.
It's not comfortable in here. That's all. And if that makes me a diva to point that out, and let me tell you something. You got the added bonus of the worst chair in the history of chairs. I'm miserable right
It's
now.
worse than that.
Thank you.
We're complaining
It-
about chairs and heat.
It's awful.
You are growing your army, though, because now you have Terry Foster and Scott Biscoff on the same team that chairs know they
No,
do.
I'm bailing on it.
And what? So it came to my attention yesterday that our arch villain Tom Mazaway, who picked out these chairs, is now saying that he did not pick out these chairs.
hang on.
And he hates them too.
He said that he picked out chairs with wheels. I'm just wondering if the wheels are coming in soon.
Remember when you get mad at me? I'd have the sign up and he'd go, Sonny, you can't put the sign up. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Do you remember the comparison that you made between Micah Parsons?
I do.
Yeah, and like once you said that all my reservations about Micah Parsons grew 15 times.
Yeah. So there is some Jared Davis in Micah Parsons' game. There just is. He is a very aggressive football player, and he wants to come forward and make plays in the backfield. But in doing so, he will run himself out of position, and he will overrun plays. He will be in the wrong gap at times. There are times where he does do that, but it's part of his game is the aggression and coming forward. Where he's a little different than Jared Davis is that I think he's more of a natural player on the edge, where Jared Davis didn't really bring that so much to the NFL. He developed it. But with Parsons, it's just, he's, first off, he plays a position that isn't, it's an off-ball linebacker. It's not all that important. He doesn't play in coverage all that much. And you throw in the concept that he will find himself out of position, and it's like we've seen this before. So there's that, and then there's a lot of off-the-field stuff with him that is very concerning, and I just don't know how. I mean, I think for Dan Campbell he'd be very intriguing, but when it comes, he would, but when it comes down to it, I'm not sure how they would pull the trigger on him at 7.
By the way, Richard said, "Yeah, you look miserable. Stop by the Speakeasy for a Diet Dew." Oh. Do you know what I do to an ice cold Diet Dew right now? Hi, I'm Sean Baligian for Diet Dew.
Do we need to get you one?
When I'm in a 207-degree studio, nothing refreshes me like
Celsius.
Diet Dew. Scott,
Sean,
say no more. Because, listen, I love Jared Davis. Like, I do. Like, as a human being, Scott, I saw it with my own two eyes. Dude works his tail off. Every year you went to camp, Jared Davis got less and less body fat, got bigger.
Yeah.
You could, I mean, works his butt off.
Yep.
Great guy to talk to, all those things, okay? Why on earth would I use the 7th overall pick to draft a guy that is, number one, a 2-down backer? I mean, he is.
Yeah.
And number two, going to play like my boy Jared, who was a dog chasing cars.
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
I don't know. And he does, Parsons does make flash plays. There are moments where it's like, wow. But, you know, that's at Penn State, and that's against Big Ten competition where, you know, you'll see him come through gaps coming forward.
You aren't insinuating the Big Ten is less than, are you?
A little bit. Yes.
You
I
better
am.
be careful. You might be called a hater for telling the truth.
Okay. It's just his play style is very reminiscent of players that we've seen struggle at the NFL level after looking like rock stars in college, and he doesn't play much in coverage. So, yeah, he's an elite athlete. He's a rare athlete, but just making the assumption that because he's a rare athlete, he will then develop the ability to play in coverage, I think is a mistake.
Kevin said Parsons is a poor guy's Anthony Barr, in my opinion. Do you see a comparable there?
Maybe a little. I mean, he's a good pass rusher. He can play. He could be effective as an edge rusher. Yeah, I could see that. It's just, you know, if you're not in coverage and a team and you're playing Mike linebacker, where a team's not really utilizing you, with the exception as a blitzer in passing downs, I don't know so much. You know, it seems like that's a luxury type of thing than it would be for a team that needs, you know, to fill a lot of holes. It would be a reach.
Can you say what you just said, the last part of that sentence again? Because like I'm serious. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to like kill your rainbow. As you know, I used to be called Rainbow Killer, and that's fine. I'm not trying to kill any rainbows here. Scott, what you just said, more people need to this team has a lot of holes to fill.
I'm
not being a hater. I'm not dissing on this brain trust or this coaching staff. They have a lot of holes to fill.
They do, and there are linebackers in rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5 who can fill some of those roles. Somebody mentioned Nick Bolton. Kevin did. Nick Bolton is a similar player where I think he needs to come forward and attack in a similar manner, but I also think that there's some coverage stuff with him where you could play him. Parsons to me is a player I could see the Giants falling in love with. Just that kind of old school. This is how you build around this type of player. He is a flashy linebacker. He really is, and he's a very good athlete. It's just for where the Lions are and their needs are, he would almost be. Like you said, he's a 2-down linebacker. He currently is, and the concept that you just automatically assume he will develop into a 3-down player. Yeah, please no. There are other positions that are more important, that are more valuable to a team than where Parsons plays.
I startled Art. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't have a dollar. I'll throw a diaper in there.
Probably a sweat-soaked one.
Let's go to the booth where Easy's standing by. Easy.
I have a question, Scott. Isn't Parsons more of an edge rusher where Davis played the middle of the field? Like, isn't there a difference
Parsons
there?
plays Mike linebacker. He's in the middle of the defense. They will let him rush off the edge, but he is your middle linebacker. That's where he will be in the NFL. So you're going to be asking him to come forward and attack gaps, B gap to B gap, and let him use his physicality and his quickness to come forward. But there will be times when, you know, teams are going to figure it out that this is where he's going to want to be.
Like they did with Jared Davis?
Absolutely. Yes. He's a little bigger than Davis, and I think he's a little better athlete than Davis was, but there are similar things there.
You know what? I always felt sorry for Jared Davis, and I'm sorry. And there's one play that sticks out in my mind, and I'm sure
Zeke Elliott pass?
Yes.
Yeah.
And people were crucifying Jared Davis for that play. How about this? Don't put the guy in a position that he shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's incapable of covering Zeke Elliott out of the backfield. What are you putting him in that position for? You know what? This just in.
That's the
a
whole
lot
story.
of linebackers are.
Yeah. That's the story of the previous regime. Now,
Well, they were smarter than
I would
everybody.
hope that this group understands what Parsons' limitations are. I would hope. I would hope they could see it.
They're not going to draft him, so we don't have to worry about it.
Cross your fingers.
You better wash your mouth right now.
I'll watch my mouth.
No, I'm not talking. Wash it.
Wash it.
Even verbalizing that. You go right to that bathroom, mister, and wash your mouth. Listen to me. We're planning a little draft show, you know. Okay,
Yeah.
Shh, don't tell anybody. It's probably
You
going to
just
be
did.
here, and he's probably going to be here, but you guys can't tell anybody. I will grab my keys, and I will be out that door so fast. If we're watching, who are the Lions going to get? Yeah. Here's Brad Holmes, the Lions, and with the 7th selection, the Lions draft Micah Parsons. Where'd Sean go? Elbow and asshole. That's all you see is I'm going out the door. That's it. Sean, where are you going? And you're just going to see, just like that, walking out the door.
I don't blame you. It's bad.
Don't you dare. Don't even plant that in my brain.
I'm sorry.
All right. Can we talk about Brockers?
Yeah.
Can we talk about not only Brockers, what he brings to the table, but his apology to Jared Goff that really doesn't need to be said?
Yeah.
Can we? But there's two ways to look at it. How about that? And we'll do that when we come back. So glad you can join us wherever you may be. This is our tropical island. It's a beautiful day on the islands. Hope your day's going well. Woodward Sports. Yeah, they put Ragnow at guard. They put Kennard at joker. That
Who's
comes
they?
from Kevin, the former regime.
Yeah. So those guys are gone.
Do you remember when we were out at the facility and I had a debate with somebody and I had to literally stop the conversation because I said on the air, I don't know if you'll even remember this. I said on the air, why are we playing Frank Ragnow there? And then they justified it, and I looked at them in horror, and I said, wow, you're a shill. And I just stopped. Do you remember that conversation? It was a good time.
I don't, but it was such a confusing thing. It really was. The whole thing.
How do you argue when somebody wants
and
to
then
shill?
letting Glasgow walk after figuring it out was just very confusing.
How good is Brockers? Again, Scott, listen. The one thing about this business that drives me nuts is there is a snowball's chance in Hades that people know a lot about this guy other than what they read. And I'm not going to say anything about that. I've never watched his tape. I've never watched his film. I know what I read. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, you know what? You have to be willing to say you don't know what you don't know. That's why I ask people like you. I mean, he by all accounts, it sounds like he fills a good need here.
Oh, it's a huge need. And this class doesn't have a bunch of those, of like the interior defensive tackles.
Sure.
They just don't. He is a very proven NFL player. He is going to have his share of struggles because he's no longer playing next to Aaron Donald. And people need to understand that. But the Lions are moving to a scheme where they're going to play 3 down defensive tackles. One, let's say he's on the inside shoulder of the tackle. 3 technique, who's between the tackle and the guard, and a nose tackle, or a 1 technique. So that's going to be their look, and then Romeo acquires your stand-up outside linebacker. That's essentially what they're going to look like. And Brockers can play the 3 technique position. He can play that 4-eye position. he can do all those things. He's very versatile. He's a better run defender than he is pass rusher type player, but he can give you some of that. He can push the pocket. He can give you some interior pressure. But there's culture here too. There's what he is as a person that he brings to the table. And he's a very good football player. It's just not going to be as easy for him here as it was in LA with playing next to Aaron Donald. But very good football player and 100% not something they could have gotten in the draft.
All right, so in case you missed it, when the deal was announced, although it wasn't officially announced until just a few days ago, you know how that dumb thing works. It's the NFL new calendar. We can't announce a deal that's been in place for a month. So dumb. But we all knew it was happening, all right? So when we knew it was happening, in case you missed it, Michael Brockers was asked about the LA Rams getting their new quarterback, a guy by the name of Matthew Stafford. And he said, this is, in essence, next level. This is a step up from what we had. Well, as fate would have it, Michael Brockers is traded to the Detroit Lions, where his quarterback is Jared Goff.
Yep.
And Michael Brockers apologized to Jared Goff. And Scott, there are two ways to look at this. Here's the comment. I just wanted to come to him as a man and let him know that I have so much respect for him. That wasn't any shot against him. Just trying to pump up the Rams fan base. Michael Brockers on apologizing to Jared Goff. What is a guy supposed to say? Is the obvious
exactly
one.
that.
What's he supposed to say? We got a new quarterback. Oh, dude, this is a special quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. He's a savvy, smart person.
What's he supposed to say?
He knows what's happening and he knows the game that is played. So if he would have come out after the Stafford trade and said, same guy we just got rid of. I don't understand what we did. How does that get sold? You would think, what are you, nuts? You can't say that. You just gave up quarterback, multiple first rounders. You have to do, like he said, you have to pump up the fan base. It doesn't mean there's a lot reality-wise. It doesn't mean there was a lot in what he did say. So,
most importantly, he spoke factually.
He did.
I mean, I'm tired of it. I've had this debate too much. Like, again, if you can't figure out that Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback than Jared Goff, I don't know what to tell you. You don't have to take my word for it. You can, basically ask anybody around the league or a guy who actually scouts these guys. That doesn't mean, again, that Jared Goff is a pile of dog doo-doo. I don't think that Jared Goff is a pile of dog doo-doo. It is, Scott, as I've said, it's very peculiar to me the last couple of years that he's turned into a turnover machine. It's very peculiar to me how he looked like, one of the best young quarterbacks just 3 years ago, and you're supposed to go like this, and it hasn't happened. There's a lot of questions there. But I just need to say, I don't think he's a pile of dog doo. I just don't think he's the quarterback of the future here.
Both things can be true. He can be an adequate starting quarterback in the NFL and not be the player who ends up as, part
the
of
franchise guy.
Yeah, he can. Yeah. You've used the term placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair. I do think that they want him to work out very much. So that way they don't have to spend all that capital on a quarterback.
Sure.
So that goes into the decision about what you do at 7 and a quarterback at 7. And I would say that if the Lions do take a quarterback at 7, they love him. They do. And they're fully sold on what he will be going forward.
That's
this year.
The one thing that we don't know, Arthur. I don't know what they think of Trey Lance.
Question for you, though. Do you think Brockers had a moment when he realized that he was coming? I mean, do you think that his words held any weight? Or do you think it was just said because he was there at the time and then it's like, I said it, I respect him, let's get over it?
I don't know. It's hard. I'll say this. He's probably smart and savvy enough to understand that there are dumbasses out there that think that Jared Goff is better than Matthew Stafford.
So the question I have there is, when did he apologize to him? Because it sounded to me like he did it pretty quick after he said what he said.
Yeah.
That it wasn't something that waited until the trade happened.
Oh, I'm in Detroit. I better do this now.
Yeah, no, I think he went home that night and said, "Hey, I don't know."
He's a better quarterback.
I don't put a lot.
He's
of
a better
anything
quarterback
into
than
it.
Jared Goff. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not being. Again, look at the particulars of the trade. If that doesn't tell you, so you got.
And Jared Goff understands it too. He was traded for a quarterback, and there were multiple first rounders that.
Who's
went.
older than you?
Yeah, and there were multiple picks who went with you.
And a third.
He knows. He knows the game, and he's smart too. He knows the game that's getting played. You think he's mad at Brockers? No.
You know what? Then again, in this climate, in this culture right now, boy, everybody's looking to be offended. So you always have to double check, right? You always have to. Hey, man, I hope I didn't.
I'm offended at the fakeness. Like, let's be real. Like, Goff was doing a Twitter Q&A the other day, and he's like, well, I never was really into hockey, but I'm in Hockey Town, and I love the Red Wings. Stop being fake. Just say, I don't care about hockey. This is about football and about me. What's the next question? Like, I want a gritty guy. I don't want, like, a half-ass guy to where it's like, I'm going to tell you everything you want to hear.
Art, you hit on something that I think is just awesome. I'm not going to lie to you, because there are guys that come to town that I'm not going to mention any names, but people know that, hey, I'm from Philly. Guess what? I'm an Eagles fan. I grew up in Philly. I know I played for the Detroit Pistons, but I'm an Eagles fan. So again, do you want him to lie to you? Is that? And I say this all the time. I mean, we really are a society now where people want to be lied to. You want me to tell you everything's going to be okay with the Tigers? I can't do that. You want me to say that Jim Harbaugh is the answer? And it's like it's so overwhelming at times. I almost have to go back and check the records just to make sure that Michigan hasn't won 4 of the last 5 Big Ten titles. And that's Art. I'm serious. That's where we're at. That's where we're at now. Is people like, oh, well, you're in Hockey Town, man. I don't care if you're from Minneapolis and you play for the Tigers. You got to be a Red Wing fan. So you want me to lie to you? Yay, Red Wings, my Red Wings. I mean, that's where we're at now. It's crazy.
I just don't get it.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah,
that makes me happy.
I just don't get it because we drafted a quarterback that looks tiny. Like, let's just be honest. He's not injury prone yet. He had the thumb issues. But, like, I look at him and I'm like, can he take a sack? Like, it just looks like we got a guy that's like, hey, I'm here to fill in and do the job, and I love the Wings. Like, cool, dude. What are you going to do? Like, you're not even built like Matthew Stafford, and look at the injuries he went through. Like, he just looks scrawny to me. He doesn't look like he's going to be a Detroit-built quarterback that needs to,
listen,
you know.
I've said this before, Scott. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I was doing the Lions Game Day show for years on Fox 2. And then starting in, 2015, 2016, all the years run together now, we would do our shots from live on the field, right? So Cam Newton was doing his stretching. Like down on the field. And I'm standing there with my mic, and all of a sudden this giant monster of a man comes by. And, like, you know how you can feel somebody coming behind you? And I'm like, who's this beast? I turn around, it's Cam Newton.
Yeah, he is huge.
A quarterback who's this wide and 245 pounds. And to put this in perspective, to show you how big these other guys are, looks like a tiny, puny person when he's getting clobbered by 290 and 300-pound men. And that like, really, for the first time, like, I put it together and I was like, holy crap, these dudes are, like, look at Joik. Look at Joik, okay? You guys see Joik up close and personal. I don't know if you can see it, like, when you're walking. Joik is like Adonis, okay? Don't tell him I said that, but
he's huge.
He looks like he's been chiseled out of rock, okay? He looks so tiny when he's running into the lines on some of those runs.
Yeah.
Like, if that doesn't put it in perspective for you how big these dudes are, nothing will.
And then consider an 185-pound defensive back who's got to go tackle a monster like Joik. Huge. Good luck.
Business decisions?
Absolutely.
We love to use that term, business decision.
Yep.
Just a quick stat. Jared Goff is 6'3", 222 pounds.
Yeah, he's not a small guy.
No. I'm not saying like he's weak or anything like that, but it was just the whole presence of that press conference. It rubbed me the wrong way because it seemed very fake to me. Like when Stafford left, it was like, man, that guy really loved the city, and maybe Goff can turn it around. But to me, presence is everything. And when I see a guy at the podium like a bobblehead, like I'm like,
it's got to be tough for him. All jokes aside,
oh, definitely,
it's got to be tough for Jared Goff because here's a guy that was a number 1 pick that has a whole heck of a lot of less wear and tear on him than Matthew Stafford does, who just a couple of years ago seemed to have the world by the cojones, signed a giant contract out in L.A., and in a couple-year span was traded for a guy that doesn't have a lot of football left, okay? I don't care what anybody says. Doesn't have a lot of football left. Not just that, but they also gave up 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. So it's got to be crazy for him to go, wait, what happened? 2 years ago, I was the next big thing in the National Football League. So
and let's remember where he's from, too.
Absolutely.
From California.
He's a Cal guy.
Played in California, played professionally in California, and now he's in the Midwest.
And LA isn't Detroit, and Detroit isn't LA. Like, you're coming to an area, like, he had security, obviously, and I get that. When I watch that press conference, it just seems someone that's not feeling at home and feels a little intimidated. That's what I gathered.
Stick chimed in. By the way, he's playing the role of John and Yoko today. He said, "All we are saying is give Goff a chance. Everybody's talking about Stafford, Calvin." No, listen to me. Like, Stick, he's getting a chance.
Yeah.
To me, that's like foregone conclusion. He's getting a chance. I'm not dogging. I'm going to say it again. I don't think he sucks. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback.
Do you think Goff could go from California cool to Detroit tough? Is that a possibility? Like, do you think he can end up turning... Like, you look at Dan Campbell and you're like, that dude's built for Detroit. You look at Jared Goff and you're like, that dude needs to put on, some sunscreen and wear his Ray-Bans.
I'm going to say something that's going to piss everybody off, including Joik if he's watching right now, okay? Art, are you ready?
Uh-oh.
I don't give a shit. Means nothing to me.
Because you know he's going to be gone?
No. Like, Michigan man, the whole Michigan man thing, what's wrong with you people? Do you know what I want? I want a guy that can win. Seriously, I don't care if he comes from Belarus. I don't care if he comes from Uganda. Is Uganda still a country or
sure? Yeah, those are some nice countries.
Is it still a country? I don't care if they grew up with fish in New Zealand. To me, just one man's opinion, okay? I'm not speaking for everybody. Honestly, I don't care.
But you're wrong, though. I want a quarterback that looks like Paul Bunyan and listens to Bob Seger. You want, Hotel California guy who's going to have margaritas on the beach. We got to toughen up. This is a rebuild.
If he's drinking margaritas on the beach but winning football games, who gives a... who cares?
Thank you.
Does it matter?
I know, if Joik was sitting here right now, it means a lot to Joik because Joik was in that room and he's a Michigan guy. And he, you know what? To me, you know what I want? I want a guy that can come here and light it up. I want a guy that comes in here and is a gosh damn assassin.
Well, then you shouldn't be. You should be completely. You're clearly not on the Goff train.
No,
but I would. If I was in your situation, I would be like, I don't give a shit for another 2 years. I don't care. I'm not going to be confident because there's nothing built around him. It doesn't matter how many coaches you have.
I wish people would realize that.
There's
nothing around him.
Yeah.
They're really, I feel sorry for the guy in that regard. he is a sacrificial lamb this year. There's no other way to say it. Yeah. And which again tells me what they think about him. Why would you put your stud in a position like
But
this?
is that over? We still have the draft. We still have some options.
But you're bringing in a first-year player, and I think it's unrealistic to say that whoever you draft at 7 overall, even if it is Jalen Waddle or somebody like that, how much benefit are you getting, right? Is Jalen Waddle saving Jared Goff? No. Jared Goff is saving Jared Goff.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, it's because Jared Goff didn't save himself. So they're building. It's in this draft we can point to it, but you're still building for the future. It's not necessarily draft a bunch of guys and instant impact. It's not how it works.
I can't stress this to you enough. I mean, it's. Can I give you a hockey example when we come back? A guy who I got to know came to town and people hated him for a while. You know who I'm talking about. And I told anybody that would listen, something's going to happen. I don't know when, I don't know how, but you are going to love him. I promise you. And by golly, it happened. We'll talk about that when we come back. He's Scott Biscoff, sitting in for Joik Bell. Joik should be back soon. We miss you, Joik. Art misses you. Art has wept many times going to break today. I'm looking into the camera like I'm supposed to, but the funny thing about my sight of vision right now is I can see Art just going like this as I'm looking. See, you don't know that I can do that. Two things at once. I'm looking into the camera, but I can also see Art just adamantly shaking his head like one of those bobbleheads, right?
Take another vacation.
Woodward Sports.
I mean, we're inside Grow Green right now, and they have everything. I'm talking, you got your active air fans, you got your big lights over there, big pots, little pots, and Joey, what are you doing right now?
Get some sun.
That's not what those lights are for.
Feels nice.
Go to Grow Green MI today to get all your growing needs and a tan.
Your bracket's busted? Well, they are never busted when you bet with MyBookie. They have all the games you can bet any way you want. Parlay straight, against the spreads, thousands of lines and prop bets on all games. Now, but you got to do yourself a favor, take the initiative, get the head start by signing up today with promo code Woodward, and they'll match your first deposit halfway up to $1,000. That's free cash credited to your account instantly on top of your deposit. The best part? You always have access to the action, whether you're at home or you're on the go. Visit the website online or on your phone at mybookie.ag and use promo code Woodward to grab yourself a deposit bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Scott, you probably know this, and I was very blessed to get to know him because he's a great guy. Darren McCarty calls him the Godfather. There was this guy named Chris Chelios that came to town in 1999.
Yeah.
I know a guy that named his first puppy after Chris Chelios, as a matter of fact.
But you had a long history with
I wonder who that is.
Oops.
But Chris Chelios was hated here. Chris Chelios played for the Blackhawks in an era that people really didn't like the Blackhawks in this town. And I would do ice time shows in the playoffs and even during the Stanley Cup Finals where people would constantly complain about Chris Chelios. Cheap shot Chelios, remember? Cheap shot Chelios.
Oh, absolutely, but that all instantly ended the day he signed here.
It's amazing what happened. Now I want you to think about this. Here's a guy that not only became a beloved figure here, but owned one of the most well-known bars in Detroit for years that everybody flocked to. Now, if I would have said that when he first was brought here, people would have called me nuts. But I told anybody that would listen, you're going to love Chris Chelios. I can't love Chris Chelios. Okay, I'm intrigued. I'm going to play. I'm going to play.
See, that's a mistake.
Why can't you love Chris Chelios? Because he's a Chicago boy through and through. He grew up in Chicago. Chicagoans are different than Detroiters. He played for the Blackhawks. I'll hate Chris Chelios. Okay. How'd that work out? Seriously, how'd that work out?
Didn't he play more games as a Red Wing than anywhere else?
I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
And he did play a lot of games for the Montreal Canadiens. But I mean, you get my point. And it's funny because later on, like when his career was done, we did some things together, and we even like did a commercial together, which was awesome. And it was funny because like I told him, I said, hey, how was it when you were first here? He goes, I got hammered. He goes, people chirped at me constantly, you know. And you know, Chris, everything rolls off. Whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of talks out of the side of his mouth. Whatever. You know what happens. I just take off to Malibu after the year. But I mean, Art, that's the reason that I bring that up. I don't give if the dude can play. Come here. I want you. Come here.
Do you think the same thing? Let's play Fantasy Island again. Do you think the same thing would happen if Crosby was to come to the Wings and they won a Stanley Cup?
100%.
That people would just wash out all
100%.
Really?
100%. Well, I say it all the time, man. You and I were talking about the last time you were here. Do you want to have me not pay attention to you? Tell me that Sidney Crosby sucks. Because, once you say that, at that point in time, I go, oh, cool, I don't ever have to talk hockey with this person again, and I can go out about my day.
So I can be the test case for this.
Okay.
There's an aspect of him that I loathe while respecting what he does, right? But all of the things that I don't like about him, I would completely ignore, totally ignore them if he was a Red Wing player.
Sure.
I would.
Sure.
Because he's awesome.
Like we did here. With some of our own. I know nobody likes to hear it, but it's the truth. I mean, that's the absolute. So in that regard, I don't know. And it's funny because I asked Mac if you're watching. Hi, Darren McCarty. Make sure you check out their show in the afternoon. You got Art, you got Pilar, you got Maz, you got McCarty. It's The Hook. It's fun. They do a great job. I asked Mac what it was like, that one trade deadline. If you remember, you know who they got? I mean, you talk about, they got 2 monster villains at the same trade deadline. Do you remember? Chris Chelios and Wendell Clark.
Wendell Clark, baby.
Two. I mean, you're talking about, if you were to make a list of ultimate villains the previous 10 years, there's a good chance that both of those guys' names. Now, Wendell Clark at that point in time was more of a, he was a villain 10 years ago type of stuff,
but
right?
he was so lethal.
So I said to Charlie, I said, what was that like when those guys came in the room? To Mac, I said, what were those guys when they came in the room? He goes, it was almost like there was 5 seconds of looking at them, and then it was, what's up, my man? They were us.
I'm glad you're on our side
right?
now.
What's up, my man? And that's so in that regard. Like when I hear people say that, well, we needed. I want a guy that can play. If you want to be so short-sighted that you want a guy, and I'm not pointing the finger at you, I hope you know that. If you want to be so short-sighted that you need a quote-unquote Detroit guy, maybe that's a reason why Detroit teams have sucked for so long.
I don't understand it. I mean, Stafford wasn't a Detroit guy, was he? I mean, he didn't.
I think you have to graduate. You know how it is. There's this whole ceremony, and then and Macho Man comes out and drops an elbow on you. And
I think Detroit fans are so fickle, though. They want, me, for example. I want my quarterback in a flannel. I want him to come out with a beard. I want him to be passionate about this city. And I feel like Goff's not there yet because he just got here and he's California cool. I'll give him some time to adapt. But if I'm going to be a fan of the Lions, I want it to be obviously because of wins, but I want that Detroit attitude. You look at the Bad Boys. You look at the Wings. I want that feel of being a fan and being passionate because my players are passionate.
But why are we assuming that Goff isn't that guy?
Because he came in looking like he was from the Beach Boys, Scott. That's why.
God only knows what I'd be without you.
Guys, I'm really happy to be a part of the Lions, and I hope we do great things. And the Detroit Red Wing, I like them too. Come on, man.
Listen, I'll take Jeff Spicoli, though. If he can play quarterback, whoa,
But we need that image back to make people passionate about these teams. Nobody gives a shit about the Lions.
Can I tell you something, though? And I'm serious. You know what's funny about this? And you asked Darren this, okay? So you have those Red Wing championships, right? 97, 98. It was grit. It was tough. It was all that stuff. You have just an absolute, dream team in 2002 that won the Stanley Cup that still had a level of toughness to it, though. Make no mistake about it. And then you know what you had in 2008? Skill. That wasn't a quote-unquote Detroit team.
I know, but
I've never had this conversation with Darren. I bet you if you asked Darren would say the same thing.
But you had
that
guys...
That was a finesse team that finessed you to death.
But you had guys that embrace the city, and I don't see that in Goff. And that's why I get it. That doesn't affect what his QB stats are or whatever. When you look at D-Mac, Steve Yzerman, Konstantinov, Sergei Fedorov, Brendan Shanahan, Chris Chelios, those guys love this city, and they represented the city so well that we named it Hockey Town. I want Goff to represent the city so well that we end up changing it to Goff Town. But he's got to perform. I want him coming in with the buffs on, listening to Icewear Vezo. I want him representing the city, not coming in and saying, hey, I'm ready.
And if he's nearby, I've heard a rumor that he's somewhere in the general vicinity of where we're at, right? I want Jared to feel at home. You know, since he's a California boy, if he sat in the studio for 10 minutes, he'd feel like he was at home because it's like 800 degrees in here like it is in California. So, Jared, if you want to taste a home, you can come down here and feel like you're at home in the studio.
Do you need
Why
some
didn't I wear
electrolytes?
shorts?
You might need that lemonade.
Oh, I need a lemonade so badly.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. By the way, I got to get to this. Steve said, our buddy Steve said, did you guys see the Jamal Williams presser? Ton of energy. Love it. Going to be a great guy to have on your
Is he a Detroit guy?
on our team.
He's embracing the city much more than Goff is.
You know what? I think he's a personality. And you know what? You know what was very refreshing to hear him say? Yeah, I was hurt when Green Bay let me go.
Yeah.
Okay, Art, you were just talking about honesty, right? Where would I rather be right now if I was a player? Green Bay or Detroit?
I don't know. It's a tough call.
It'd be a tough thing. I respect him for saying that. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, he's a personality though. You know, I mean he's a personality. And it was funny. I wish I could have got on that presser because, you know, we do all those Zoom things, and unfortunately I couldn't do it yesterday because I had things to do. But he had some fun with guys.
He did, but how much of that is authentic too?
I think it's real. That's what I think it's very. And let me tell you something. As somebody that had to sit on a few of those Zooms the past year, the temperature of this room is so infinitely different now.
Yeah.
And truth, it changed the second those guys left.
Yes.
The second those guys left. All of a sudden it was like smoke cleared and everybody...
Freedom.
Yeah.
William Wallace.
Yeah. And I like you guys, listen, don't get me wrong. I mean, I said this until I'm going to live here for the rest of my days. I'm totally cool with that, okay? I might not live here the whole year, but I'm going to I want to live here. Of course, in a perfect world, I want Detroit guys doing Detroit things and winning championships here. Okay? I do. But if it comes down to having a Detroit guy or having Jeff Spicoli, if Jeff Spicoli can win me a Super Bowl, then I love Jeff Spicoli. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, like, think about it. It's not... I always say this to my friends who are Michigan fans. You need a Michigan man. Why are you limiting yourself to just a Michigan man? How about the best man for the job?
If Urban Meyer was to come to Michigan and win a national championship, would they reject it because he's not a Michigan man?
I'm sorry. I cannot attend this parade because you, sir, are no Michigan man.
That sounds so ridiculous.
I for the life of me, no offense. I mean, again, not to, I don't get it.
No, and Stafford wasn't a Michigan man, but he came in, he performed, and he embraced the city. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Goff needs to come in with a Detroit chain and have Trick walk him out onto Ford Field for the first day. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that he needs to embrace the city because when he does that, you'll bring more fans in. Obviously, you have to perform, bar none.
Well, eventually what happens is you kind of morph into one of our own if you get it done and everything.
Right.
But let me say this, okay? I don't care if there's somebody that comes in here. Pick a country in Europe, Scott. Any country you want.
France.
Okay. En
Did I get it?
français. He comes in here, doesn't speak a gosh damn word of English. Not one. Okay? He has to have me translate for everything he says. I don't give a crap.
Okay, but to that end, it's funny that you brought up Sergei Fedorov before, because those guys were crushed when they first got here because they weren't tough enough to win playoff hockey games. Those guys were crushed, and now they're all Detroit guys. You know what I mean? Like,
Sue's a great example. Sue's not a Michigan guy, but he came in and performed, and the fans loved him.
He graduated to, no doubt. Pavel Datsyuk to this day pretends like he doesn't speak English. To this day.
Yeah.
Like it was fun because when the cameras went on, he would get. Do you remember he'd get that confused look, and I'd always go, shut the. I was just talking with you 30 seconds ago before the. No. Shut up. You're not fooling anybody.
Breaking news: Joik Bell's in the comments on YouTube telling me to raise my hand.
Oh, is he really?
Is that good?
He told me that I have to raise my hand. You're not even here.
To be able to talk?
Hi, Joik. I told you he was going to get mad at me. I don't care about Detroit guys. Do I want Detroit guys? Of course I want Detroit guys. Do you know what I want more than Detroit guys?
Wins.
Championships. And I want lots of championships. I want rings all over this table.
So
and if you're from Mozambique or you're from Siberia or you're from the Yucatan Peninsula, I don't give rings.
Those are some great countries.
Are they?
No, it's good.
Is Mozambique still a country?
I think the
Yes, it
dynamic
is.
changes
Siberia is. Yucatan Peninsula is part of Mexico, though, right?
Isn't Siberia part of Russia?
I don't think so anymore. Is it?
I think you need a new map. One of us
But
needs a
that
new
whole
map.
breakup of the Soviet Union confused me, okay? It's only been 30 years.
I don't know.
Fish is looking it up right now. Look at Fish fact check this.
Does the dynamic change if Goff wins games here?
1,000%.
Display some toughness.
I will
deals
look
with
in this
sacks and
camera. I will
pressure.
look in this camera and go, my gosh, I was wrong about this guy. He has been immensely better than I thought. Now that's a conversation I'm never going to have. But let's just play a game of pretend. We're in pretend world now. That's exactly what I'll do because you're doing your job. But I know so many of you want to be lied to.
I mean, from becoming a Detroit guy. Whether he wins or loses, if he displays some toughness and shows some grit and plays through some pain.
The first second that Jared Goff takes a big shot and pops back up and like gets in the face of it, you guess what? There's your graduation ceremony.
Yeah, that's all that I'm asking for.
You skip from fourth grade to now you're graduating with honors here in Detroit.
You have to put yourself to the test. If he gets hit and then comes back in the fourth quarter like some Stafford stuff, then he earns my respect. But right now, I'm not going to give him that because none of us know how he's going to perform. He's not a Detroit guy.
You have to give him credit for the way that he dealt with Mr. Hand, okay? It wasn't easy dealing with Mr. Hand as your teacher. How many people got that reference? I know he did. Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Anybody?
Learning about Cuba and having some food.
Some pie. What are you, on dope? Mr. Hand's one of the greatest characters in motion picture history. There, I said it.
Yeah.
All right. More nonsense next, Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Start a new career in an industry that is always essential. Is it ever? The heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. Last summer, I'm sorry, you know me better than anybody. Last summer, we got pretty easy. We didn't have a warm summer. Remember?
Yeah.
It wasn't but do you remember there was one week where it got really warm? Do you remember?
Into the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my air conditioners went out.
Oh.
And in our home we have two things, and that was awful. That was really.
What was it like?
It was.
Was it like being in here?
This feels worse. This is infinitely worse. But it was. So Northwestern Tech, thank you for help people like me. Let's go to the aquarium. Here's Fish. Hi, Fish.
Hello. All right. So Siberia is a region in Russia.
Thank you.
And the Yukon Peninsula has three Mexican states and has Belize and Guatemala in it.
And is Mozambique still a country?
Yes.
Okay. But you get...
I don't know where you got Mozambique from. That is a great poll.
Thank you. I appreciate it. What's that island off of Africa, too? Madagascar.
Yeah,
you
there's a
could be
big
the
movie
biggest
about it.
Madagascarian.
The Canary Islands?
Can you? Yeah, you could
That's
be
a
one of
great
those statues
movie.
on Easter Island. If you can come in here and be an anchor on my offensive line, I want you.
Please.
Seriously, I want you.
Yeah.
Can I bring up some hockey with you
Please.
right now? Did you happen to see the Habs Oilers game got?
I did. I saw it got scrubbed. That's not a great thing.
Are you surprised that we haven't lost more games than we've lost? I got to be honest with you. I am. I'm
surprised that it's happening up there. That's alarming, to be honest. It is. I mean, unless there are circumstances around it that make it not alarming, we're never going to know. The fact that it's happening up there now is something that I think we should be paying attention to, because they've been a bit bubbled up. They've changed their divisions. I mean, everything's changed about games and all that stuff. But
It was here, and I will also tell you this. You may or may not know this. It ravaged Quebec last spring. COVID ravaged Quebec. I mean, it was awful, right? And then I think they went through that period where they thought, okay, it's coming back down, and then it kind of came back up. I don't know the particulars from it. I've heard some things that maybe these guys were out and not exactly taking
that's what I'm wondering.
care of things. And it's just a subtle reminder to guys like that. I mean, listen, what made the bubble work in the summer for the NHL and the NBA is the fact that those guys, to a man, said, "This is what we have to do."
Yeah, the bubble was not pierced.
This is what we have to do. We got to do this, okay? If we want to have our playoff, we want to have a champion, we have to do this. And I'm going to say it again. As a hockey fan, I will always, as crazy as it sounds, as effed up as last year was, I will always have fond memories of the summer of 2000.
Because of the
20,000.
salvation of the playoffs.
2020. It was, Scott, like for me to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and fire up my smoker and have a game come on, a pregame show come on at 11:30 and the first game of the playoff come on at noon and know that I'm there all day.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. As crazy as it sounds, as messed up as last year was, I mean, financially, everything about it was messed up. People getting sick, people dying.
But the
in
escape,
a twisted way, I'll have fond memories
the
of that.
escape that it gave hockey fans, the escape of getting away from some of the stuff that was going on and watching playoff hockey, which is unlike anything. I'm with you. It's something that I will always think about, like just how incredible that was.
Well, and then what's interesting about it is everybody thought, well, these guys were so what's the word I'm looking for? They were so responsible and they were so aware that this is something bigger than the individual now. And I think what's funny during this whole COVID thing, one thing that I've learned definitively is, boy, everybody knows how other people are acting and reacting, right?
Yeah.
Sadly, there have been people who did everything right and still got COVID.
Yeah.
That's the reality
That's
of
the
this.
nature of what it is.
And unfortunately, when people get sick, surely you must have been out at the bar. Were you on Crescent Street last night? And were you on Peel Street last night? Is that where you were? Don't even tell me you were over near Rue St. Catherine's. Don't even tell me like that, but that's where we're at. So I think there's this immediate jump to want to crucify these guys. And look, the reality is guys can do everything right and you can still get this damn thing.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about, that it's alarming that it's in these Canadian teams with the border being closed and all this. That's a little bit disconcerting that it's happening there.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that it's happening in the United States where things aren't the way they are up in Canada, but You're right. You can do everything right. They can do everything right, and it can still run through a locker room. It's crazy to think
I'm
about.
surprised we haven't lost more games. I'm not going to lie to you. I am.
That's
And,
fair.
you know, gradually it's getting better. I know we kind of took a step back around here as of late. And by the way, it's a flat-out lie if you blame this on high school athletes.
Oh, please.
You're demonic for suggesting that. There, I said it, and I stand by it. That's demonic. You can't, I mean, that's a joke. Come on now. And unfortunately, you've had some people say that.
Hey, my kids
That's
are
what we have
kids are at school.
That's what we have contact tracing for.
My
And
kids are
you
at
know
school
what?
full time, 5 days a week.
Like, stop it. Like,
come on.
And unfortunately, there are people out there that are blaming kids playing sports. Like, shame on you. I mean that. But Scott, I really I thought we'd lose a lot more games, and we haven't. You know, and that's the reality. Is it's almost like, okay, baseball starting again. What conversely was absolutely miserable for me last summer, was I enjoy fantasy baseball a lot. Okay, it was miserable last year, with games getting canceled left and right, and guys being quiet. It was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
What I opened up it's almost like the swear jar. Like, hey, I'm just throwing money out the window. Whee! This money doesn't mean anything.
It's truly a lottery ticket.
Yeah, I mean,
it was.
it's just so stupid. But so we had our draft the other day, and it was almost like we had to be reminded. Look, this could happen in baseball too. It's you know, our minds, because all of a sudden we've had this sense of normalcy, right? Like the tournament's on.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where it's being played. We're just happy. I'm happy that I can turn my head and go, oh, man, I got a chance yesterday afternoon to watch, you know, Oklahoma and Gonzaga, and watch Michigan last night knock off LSU. It's a subtle reminder that this thing is still here. And I'm not getting political, regardless of if COVID's real, okay? I hope everybody, like, COVID's real. Don't be an idiot and try to deny it. The way we dealt with it, that's where the debate comes. But, guys, we're probably not done dealing with it.
Doesn't seem like it. It just doesn't.
No. Yeah, it's interesting to me. So I want to talk about the Red Wings, because there are little things that are happening this year that I want to ask you about. Are the Red Wings ready to compete? Nope. Are they going to be ready to compete next year? No.
It's funny you bring that up, because I wanted to ask you about two players in particular.
Oh, well, and I'd love to hear that. Are they ready to compete the year after that? Nope. No. I'm serious. You're looking at least 2 more years, okay? If you guys can't see that there's progress being made, I don't think you're paying attention. As bad as they are, and they are, okay? If you can't see that there's progress being made, I don't think you're paying attention. I really don't. Right? Their 5-on-5 play is so much better. Their specialty play is awful. I think a lot of that has to do with the lack of talent on the roster.
High-end talent.
That exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lack of. There is. I mean, there's
Very
no
little.
other way to say that. But
I'm
seeing
aware?
little signs, and it makes me happy.
Absolutely. Are we aware of the Jonathan Bernier stuff?
Not
Just
enough people are talking about it.
Look at his record as a starter for the Detroit Red Wings, and look at the records of all the other starters combined. It is stunning.
Let's talk about that when we come back, because I have some points about that, going back to him 10 years ago. I mean, literally 10 years ago, going back. And I think that's when your story starts. Don't go anywhere. He's Scott Biscoff. I'm Sean Baligian. Poor fish is boiling in the aquarium. Art is,
Is
Art's
he alive?
I think Art's at 79 pounds right now. I do. He's been in that sauna. He's at 79 pounds. This is Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
Hey, if you feel good about your interest rate because it's in the 3s, get over it and call Hall Financial, because rates are now in the 2s. Be smart and make the call, because you could be saving money. Hall Financial is fast. They do all the heavy lifting for you. So go to davidhallmortgage.com now to get started. D Hall is going to take care of you. Hall Financial, lower payments, better options, more personal attention. So there you have it. Good times had by all. All right, you mentioned Bernier.
Yeah.
Here's a backstory on Jonathan Bernier. Jonathan Bernier was supposed to be in that line of great Quebecer goaltenders. First-round draft choice, can't miss, he missed. Part of the reason he missed is he happened to be drafted to a team that had a guy named Jonathan Quick, who, I don't know if you're aware of this, Jonathan Quick turned into a pretty fantastic goaltender.
He was one of my favorite goalies for quite a while.
Won a couple of cups. Almost single-handedly pulled off what would have been a monstrous upset, knocking off that Team Canada 2014 team that was just disgustingly good. Where I may have been able to start in net for Team Canada and get shutouts like Carey Price did. I'm not taking anything away from Carey Price. At the time, he was the best goalie in the league. He saw nothing. That defense core, when you talk about a defense core, go look at their defense core. They were just disgusting. Okay? So it never happened. Jonathan Bernier is a darn good goaltender.
He is.
And I think people around the league maybe aren't talking about it because he plays for the Red Wings, who are, in the midst of an obvious rebuild. And you know how we talk about how it came up earlier in the show? Like, I think it's stupid when people refuse to use the term rebuild. I do. I'm sorry. I'm not going to use the term rebuild. Okay, it's a rebuild.
If you look at his numbers as a starter, if you want to have your mind blown today, look at his numbers as a starter and look at everybody else's, all the other goalies they've had since he's been here as a starter. It is crazy to think about. I mean, it's crazy. Mind blown. He's very good.
So, and Scott, what it comes back to with this team as well is this is a situation where look at what is playing in front of him. And this is a team, I'll go back to the rebuild thing. This is a franchise that should have admitted to themselves 4 years ago they were in a rebuild.
That was some of the frustrations with Kenny Holland.
Could not do it. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. It was weird. So Steve did that. That's a plus, but I'm going to say something. I haven't talked about this for 2 years, and there's a reason why I haven't talked about it, okay? And I think you were privy to this conversation a couple years ago, okay? A lot of people got angry at me 2 years ago because I had the audacity to say, one of our own, the captain, isn't a superstar. 2 years ago, we had this discussion on Twitter. I think you were part of it. Do you remember?
Are we talking Dylan Larkin?
Dylan Larkin.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
He doesn't need to be.
It's okay. And people got furious. I mean, people got furious. How can you say that? Don't you think you're making a judgment too early? And I'm like, actually, no. But let's wait a couple years, okay?
Wouldn't he be better served as a number 2 center?
Yes.
He would.
Absolutely.
And the Red Wings would be too.
Absolutely.
Now, having said that, 2 players. 2 players that the Wings could have drafted.
Okay.
2 players that I wanted them to draft. Trevor Zegras and Jamie Drysdale. What are your thoughts on these 2 guys as they play for Anaheim now? And I mean, I'll speak to. I mean, Zegras was incredible at the World Juniors. Incredible.
I saw him up close and personal.
That's why I'm asking.
Close and personal.
I know you've seen Drysdale.
All right. So before you do that, I promise you I'll get to that. I was watching a hockey game the other night, and there is a guy that plays for the Vancouver Canucks. I don't know if you're familiar with
Quinn
him.
Hughes.
He is the most beautiful skater I've ever seen. I'm not. That's.
Have you seen Jamie Drysdale skate?
No, Scott. Listen to me. I'm okay. You know how sometimes there's an overstatement. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not an overstatement.
It is not.
Quinn Hughes is the most beautiful skater I've ever. And yes, I use beautiful. It's effortless. It's amazing. It's almost like his mother was a power skater or something.
Maybe.
But no. Listen, I was screaming at people for them to. What's the National Hockey League today? You need a puck carrying defenseman, and I mean no disrespect to Zadina. To me, it was like I love Brady Tkachuk as well. Okay, you grab Quinn Hughes and don't even think twice about it. Okay, I think that was a miss by the Red Wings. And again, I'm not saying Zadina's not going to work. I'm not. Don't misconstrue. I know what Quinn Hughes is today.
He is a very different player.
He's phenomenal. In this league today, he is phenomenal. In regards to your question, I didn't know that much about Drysdale other than what I had read. Because by that point in time, I wasn't watching that league like I had been. But some people that I knew were going, dude, like sick.
He moves
silly.
different. He just does.
And you've seen it.
Yeah.
You've seen it. And with Zegras,
yeah.
Look, the NTDP, there's a reason it has the
that was the
reputation.
Sider.
Yeah.
So Sider, I think, will be a very, very good NHL defenseman. So we can kind of dismiss some of the Zegras stuff because you couldn't have them both. But Drysdale moves very different than. I mean, I think Hughes is a great skater too, but Drysdale's edge, the stuff he does on his edges, and the ability for him to flip his hips and forward and back and lateral stuff, it's ridiculous the way he moves. And in today's game,
phenomenal.
You know, that's where it's at.
Steve brought up a couple examples. Abdelkader was far from a superstar. He had an A. Same with Glendening. Steve, they also played on teams that actually had star power. They did. Both of them did, okay? Glendening was at the tail of it. This Red Wing team is a team that needs star power. And people told me until they were Red Wing in the face that Dylan Larkin was the next star. And I told them, no, he isn't. He's a good player. I'll take him on my team. He is not a star. He isn't. He's a damn good player. Who doesn't want a damn good player? And people got so ticked. And I was like, okay, all right, cool. All right, I'm going to shut up for 2 years. I'm not going to say anything. Because we had some guys were, you're usually right. You're way off on this. Well,
it's a little bit of the frustration of where they fell last year in the draft. Because at 2, Quentin Byfield's there.
Mm-hmm.
Center, big,
giant.
Likely a number 1 center, and it slots Larkin down to the second line where he's much more effective. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, and so, like, this franchise right now, this is a high talent level league, okay? Everybody needs 2 or 3 top end, high end talents. And when people were saying a couple years ago, well, the Red Wings already have one, I said, no, they don't. And again, I know somebody's going to take that as a shot. Even this day, to Dylan Larkin is not a shot. He is a good player. I will take Dylan Larkin on my team.
He's a very good player.
He is not a high-end player, period. And I think people are. This goes back to what you were saying. People were so desirous of a guy who grew up 5 miles west of here, okay? 5 miles west of where we're sitting right now. Played his junior hockey 45 miles west of here, and then moved a few miles down the road and played his college hockey at the University of Michigan. People were so desirous of this guy because he had all that Detroit in him to be the next man, and you can't be something that you aren't. That doesn't mean that he can't be a great captain. That doesn't mean that he can't be a part of championships in the future. But if you're talking about a high caliber stud, it's not his game.
So I would just urge people to look around the NHL and everywhere and find players on top lines or even on second lines who give you more high-end skill than what Larkin can do, and just be present to that. I mean, David Pasternak.
How many times did they say that? It's okay. Like that was my argument 2 years ago. Why are you dogging Larkin? What are you talking about? No, I'm not. It's okay that he's just a good player. It's okay. It's all right.
I would go so far as to say that he'd be a really good second line center. He'd be a better second line center than most teams have.
I would be intrigued to see what he would do in a supporting cast for a good team. Yes.
Sure. But you need entire line. You need an entire infusion of elite high-end stuff.
Absolutely.
Before they even get competitive. They just do.
They still do. Absolutely. All right, we got to take a quick break. We have one more break. I'm telling you, I'm probably going to urinate myself.
You're not going to be alone.
In my effort to cool down here today. And you know what they say? It's like the Junction Boys, right? Bear Bryant has been working us into the ground. No water breaks. Well, we've moved on. We've evolved, right? Our coach Art is allowing us some water breaks.
Yeah, too much.
And everything. And we've had too much.
Yes.
I'm gonna urinate myself.
You might as well just let her go.
You know what? I might. And as I look at this, it's just like I can feel it coming out of my kidney right now too.
Hey, don't ask him to do it because he's in vacation mode. He could very well urinate himself right now.
I don't want to see it, but it'd be like a car crash where I couldn't take my eyes off.
Can
it.
I
Go
ask
ahead.
you guys a question though, very quickly?
No.
Yes.
After break.
All right, when we come back, I'm going to ask you a vacation question, all right? Woodward Sports. So, listen, my son and I had the conversation just last night before bed. We were like, we're going to get drunk pretty much right away when we get down there, right? Like, just telling you,
Before you take the picture on 7 Mile Bridge or after,
that's
where's
right.
it on the itinerary?
My question is,
you are not having a drop of alcohol before 12:43, mister.
Listen, you've got to get through getting out of Livonia first, and then you could celebrate and have a drink. I mean, that's an accomplishment. L-Town is no joke. If they know that you're leaving...
2 ways out.
Whew.
2 ways out. I've already escaped. You got to remember, I've already escaped.
You escape every day when you come here. Bless your heart. Joy talks about his hard life. You've got it bad today.
I live in Northville now. That's why everybody kills me. Yeah. Why do you keep pimping?
How did you get out?
I haven't lived in. I told you, body bag or escape. That's how you get out of Livonia.
Good for you.
That's
I'm
it.
glad
No
you
other
got
way.
out.
No other way. Yes, Fish. Let's head to the aquarium. Hi, Fish.
Hey, when you're on vacation, are you still gonna be on the show and do your live reads
Oh,
and
sure.
do your
Yeah.
DraftKings Woodward Sports update?
I don't know.
Please.
Absolutely.
Please.
Is that going to happen?
Please.
You're not gonna do a drunk update
yeah,
on Friday?
Yeah. I'll go like this, and look, there's the ocean behind me, and I'll do a segment with you guys. No.
Wow.
That's not happening.
Wow.
No.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
So who's
It's
gonna
the
do
worst.
the updates? Terry
So
Foster?
listen, my son and I really and truly, we were talking about all right, let's go get drunk. And so when you're down there, you like for me, it's like I'm not going to drink what I normally drink. I'm probably going to have some fruity drink. Okay, you guys
Okay.
can laugh at me, but I'm probably
He
going to
may
have
as
like
well.
a margarita, whatever. But here's the biggest thing, Art. This is where I need you. All right, what is more? I'm a beach bum in the Keys. Because my son and I had this philosophical conversation last night. The big giant plate of nachos with some salsa or wings. What is I'm doing nothing today but getting drunk and eating finger food. What is more, or do I have to go with shrimp or something and then I go full Margaritaville? What is it?
You gotta go a little beach style, yeah. I'm just trying to think. I mean,
You got to be drinking out of a coconut or something.
right.
I'm not drinking out of a damn coconut.
Or
That's
you
kind
could
of what
go-
you have to do, though.
Here's a solution. Do you get hungover? Do you get hungover? No. I was gonna say you could go Jamaican style and just smoke weed the whole time. I'd rather do that because my thing is if I'm on vacation, I do not want to feel like crap the next day. But if you don't have hangovers, then bless your heart.
To me, you know how you avoid a hangover? You don't get off the horse.
Yeah.
That's how you avoid the hangover.
I'm on
You gotta have
day
a little bit
4 of a
discipline.
7-day binge.
You keep right.
Oof.
Well, listen. If I have a plate of nachos and I have a plate of wings, and I'm going to go with Parmesan garlic down there.
Oh.
Nobody needs to have their mouth on fire when they're walking, on 82 degrees. Right? I'm going to be fine.
You'll be just fine. You're setting down a good base, you'll be good.
I want to know how will your heart and your mind go on knowing that you're screwing me by leaving me with Joik for a week, basically?
He's taking a vacation from his problems.
Must be nice. I'll be here in the trenches fighting a war that I'll
Are
never
you going
win.
sailing?
He posts 2 comments in the YouTube. Art, raise your hand. People go wild. They love it. Now I got to deal with it in person for a week as he brings in his friends. It's going to be hell
Could you
on
imagine
earth.
the bullying?
Are you coming
There's
back?
going to be so much bullying going on.
Him and Trick doing an episode together, him and Clarissa Shields, and it's just shit on
Are they
Art
really
Day.
coming in for real?
I don't know who's going to be here. He might invite Gretchen Whitmer, and she can tell me I'm terrible.
Yeah, I better not be here if she comes in.
I can't believe. How have you been sleeping at night knowing that you're leaving me, Sean?
I wish
So
you
are
could
you
come
going to
with
be
me. I
Detroit
really
tough
do.
or what?
I'm going to be Detroit tough.
Thank
Howie
you.
tough.
You got to
Howie
show it.
Hellhound coming in
This is
strong.
your opportunity. You show a tough yard.
Could you imagine? No, could you imagine how fun Art would be on vacation, though? Tell me that guy wouldn't be fun.
I think it would be spectacular.
Seriously,
Well,
you'd be.
I don't drink. I would be a.
You just said you
That's
did.
all right.
You're going to be doing other things.
Yeah, I would do that, but man.
Do you know how cool it is, though? Like, wait till your kids are a little older. Like, you and your 21-year-old kid are like having a conversation about what we're going to drink.
Yeah, I was thinking that's crazy. But
Yeah, it's like we're like literally we're having like he was like, so what do you want to roll with? You want to roll with some Coronas? And I go, Jack, liquor. No, I'm like.
the fact that you guys are planning it out
Yeah,
is
but
intriguing.
right? Don't you have to do that?
I don't know.
You know what you should keep doing is keep talking about it while I suffer through hell here. Why don't you FaceTime us every day and say, hey, the beach is wonderful. Sucks to be you, Art.
You do need to send a text every once
do
in
you
a
know
while.
why? That's why I don't want to come on the show while I'm gone.
No, I need you.
You give him hope?
No, but you're gonna get mad at me because
No.
I'm gonna go, hey Art, I'm here to support you, and you're gonna see like paradise.
Here's what I want from you.
It's gonna, you know what it's gonna be? It's Happy Gilmore. There are gonna be German women with mugs of beer, and you know a guy running on a hobby horse, and
Here's what I want from you. I want you, when you are on this call to us, to let Joik know, you look him right in the eyes, because you're going to be a little sauce, so you're going to have a little bit of a Detroit tough mentality.
I'm gonna be hammered by
Yeah.
10 a.m.
So I want you to look at Sean and say, you better leave my best friend alone. And I bet
You know what? I will have some liquid courage. So that's
And distance.
about 10 in the morning, and he's 3,000 miles away. I might chirp to Joy.
You better.
No way I'm gonna chirp.
Why
to Joy.
not?
No.
Just do it early.
What is
so
he
that
going
way
to
he
do? Throw
forgets about
bitcoins
it.
at you?
Okay, what?
You can't do that when you're 50 million miles away. I'll take the punishment. You say what's on your mind. You and I text about him all the
Don't
time.
hold back.
Don't how dare you? What the
You
hell?
say tomorrow's the day Art, that I got your
my
back.
gosh.
I've been waiting for tomorrow for forever.
Does anybody believe this?
Joik will know.
Joik will not. What's he gonna do? Throw bitcoins at you? Like I'm sitting down enjoying my drink, and then
He's not going to drive
raining
his
gold.
Tesla.
Joik's arm fires all the way from here, hits me in the jaw with a bitcoin.
His
See how
Tesla
far you
can't
can
get
skip
across
it.
water. You're going to be fine. It's going to run out of battery. He can barely make it to the mire without it failing on him.
He's gonna put that bitcoin in Fish's mouth, and Fish is gonna swim all the way down to Key West, and go, Mr. Sean, Joik has something for you. Yeah, Steve said
Bitcoin.
Joik will show up at your hotel room the next morning. Could you imagine? I wake up to start the whole process again. And,
Knock, knock.
Oh, room service might be here, and there's Joik. And he's like a maitre d'. He's got that towel over him. So when he bloodies my face, he's going to be a nice guy.
Is he
and
gonna
hand me the
fire a
towel
shoe at you?
so I can clean it? Jenna, thank you. Great show today. All right, Art, you know, I don't know if I can go a second longer without the bathroom. So can we say goodbye to everybody and say Scott will be in again tomorrow?
Yeah, as long as you got my back.
It's.
I tell you what,
we're good.
we'll exit now if you promise to not show up at Comerica Park on opening day, which is what you're going to do.
Well, we're going to 1 o'clock today. There's no doubt about that. And whoever sits in this, who sits in this chair? Is this Mac's chair?
Yeah.
Mac, I'm sorry. There's a wet spot. Just don't. It's water.
Bring in a towel, buddy.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Mac. It's just water in this chair. All right, listen. Seriously, have yourselves a great afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow. Scott, we don't have a draft show this week, so we could do like a
do it tomorrow.
impromptu draft show.
Yeah, we'll talk about Kyle Pitts.
And if you think my mind was on vacation today, wait
Mail
till
it in.
you see tomorrow. I might start mixing drinks. Art, you might start drinking tomorrow.
Take Romo at 7.
See you, bye.